Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to News Hour live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. We are also live on GTV and streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Micheline Taka. You're most welcome. Let us address this dangerous trend of coup d'etats in the West African sub-region collectively and decisively, says ECOWAS chairman, President Akufo-Addo. The president, who was opening the extraordinary summit of ECOWAS heads of state in Accra, said the emerging threats of military interference in the region that stems from Mali and its contagious influence in Guinea and Burkina Faso must be tackled head-on.
It was Mali that set in motion the contagion effect of coup d'etats in the ECOWAS bloc on August 18, 2020. And since then, the military has truncated democracies 2 times, Guinea and Burkina Faso. As if that was not enough, Guinea-Bissau virtually followed suit, albeit unsuccessfully, with President Umaru Sissoco Embalo still at the helm of affairs. Welcoming his colleagues to Accra for the ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit, President Akufo-Addo said the resurgence of coup d'etats in the region is a matter of grave concern.
This evolution challenges the democratic way of life we have chosen. We need to stand firm to protect democracy and freedom in our region.
He called for a sustainable way of halting military interference in the democratic path the region had chosen.
In this extraordinary summit, we'll also examine the recent development of the situations in the Republic of Guinea and the Republic of Mali. I hope that our discussions will provide informed decisions that can reverse the deteriorating political trajectory in our region, characterized by democratic setbacks and the fragility of our security systems.
He lauded the African Union for suspending Burkina Faso from its activities.
I commend our continental body, the African Union, on its firm decision to suspend Burkina Faso from participating in AU organs and institutions, in alignment with the decisions of the ECOWAS Authority on the situations in Mali and Burkina Faso. The African Union expressed strong support to the efforts of ECOWAS in addressing peace and security challenges facing the region, including the resurgence of military coups. This is the solidarity and international coalition that are needed to halt the political turbulence in our region and the continent at large.
High on the agenda of the extraordinary summit of heads of state in Accra for consideration are the reports by chiefs of defense staff in the bloc who visited Ouagadougou on Saturday, 29th January 2022, and that of the Council of Ministers, led by Ghana's Foreign Minister, Madam Shirley Ayokobotri, on Monday, 31st January 2022.
Meanwhile, a senior mediation advisor to the United Nations has implored the political class in West Africa to deliver on their promises to citizens to help engender confidence in democratic governance in the sub-region. Mr. Emmanuel Bombande said addressing issues of poverty, insecurity, and widening inequality gap will help in restoring stability and uphold democratic values in the region. He spoke with GBC News in an earlier interview.
Democracy must serve a purpose. And in our context in Africa and specific to our region, people's aspirations are simple. They want to see democracy providing dividends. And it is true that if you look at the past 2 decades, whilst we tried to deepen democracy, there have been widening inequalities. There have been, in my view, performances of our economies in such a way that a very tiny minority elite have become wealthier, but an overwhelming majority of the people continue to be poorer. And when you look at that and you try to understand that governments are struggling to provide even basic social services, then we have clearly seen how many countries have struggled with health facilities to respond to the pandemic of COVID-19. The frustration that people are feeling and how some of them, out of that frustration, come out on the street to celebrate a coup d'etat is completely misplaced, because it is never a military government that can do better in terms of responding to the challenges that you and we have been describing. It is when we consolidate the democracies and insist on accountability mechanisms for the leadership to provide the services that carry along the aspirations of the people that we can go forward. So in that regard, coup d'etats can never be an alternative. And that is why today, the ECOWAS leaders must strengthen their resolve and keep the focus and make it very clear that the community of West African states have a zero tolerance for coup d'etats and unconstitutional overthrow of governments, and no military leader will be accepted legitimately to be part of the West African community of leaders, and now work to accompany them to bring back constitutional order. And that, for me, is the threshold. You cannot lower that bar in order to be able to solve these problems. We solve them diplomatically and we solve them preventively, but you don't compromise on your principle, you don't compromise on your values.
The Accra High Court has directed the National Labour Commission (NLC) and the University Teachers Association (UTAG) to settle their case out of court. The two parties are expected to report to the court on Thursday, February 10. The NLC dragged UTAG before the Labour Court over its constant refusal to comply with its directives to call off the ongoing strike. At the court's hearing, counsel for the NLC, Madame Eva Mihie, prayed the court to allow her move two applications. The first application is an enforcement of the directives issued by the Commission on January 13 for UTAG to return to work, and the second is an interlocutory injunction to stop the association from continuing with its strike. Presiding Judge, Justice Frank Roxon Abuadre, however, requested to meet the parties in chambers. The president of the University of Ghana chapter of UTAG, Dr. Samuel Nkumban, is joining us live to explain the implications of the out-of-court settlement. Hello, good afternoon.
And good afternoon to listeners.
Thanks so much for making time for News Hour. We are most grateful.
Yes.
Quickly, tell us what this ruling means.
Hello?
I am asking you to explain what this new ruling means.
Well, for UTAG, you would recall that last year we had to go back after the same or a similar court situation. When we went on strike last academic year, NLC went to court. Government intervened by indicating that NLC should withdraw the case for us to engage. And that happened. And it was the reason for which UTAG also suspended its strike. The MOA that followed after our engagement with government failed to abide by that MOA. And so for us, it's a victory in the sense that we expected that the NLC at this time would be considering the documentation available on the side of UTAG and on the side of government and making a determination as to who has reneged on some of the agreements that we have signed. That didn't happen, except for the interest in ensuring that the strike does not continue. And so it's my hope that within the 1 week period that the court has asked NLC to engage and to resolve the matter and report back to the court next Thursday, something more positive in that regard would happen. If not, for UTAC general membership by the resolutions for which we are continuing the action. The indication is that until there is positive response from the side of government in as far as improving our conditions of service are concerned, this action is indefinite, which implies that if within the 1 week to nothing positive happens, the implication is that we'll be headed back to report to the court, and likely that the court would want to move towards hearing the substantive matters.
So in essence, you are saying that UTAG is ready to settle this case out of court so long as it sees a positive reaction from the government?
Well, of course. I mean, the essence is for us to have improved conditions of service. And if within the 1 week we are getting that feed from the side of government, there's no reason for which we would not agree to settle out of court. And so, like we said, our demands are quite straightforward and clear. And so our expectation is not even for going back to the table to negotiate anything. We are expecting that government will make offers. And so if that happens within the week, certainly we would meet up with them and then revert to our general membership and a decision will be made. And then we will report to the court.
You just made mention of within the week, but tomorrow is the deadline for the universities to shut down. Are you considering saving the situation, or you're still not relenting?
Well, if our statement is read carefully, we indicated it's an indefinite action until government meets us. And for us, tomorrow, determination as to whether the universities close down or not, it's not in the hands of UTAC. It's in the hands of management of the various universities. And so we'll leave that to the management of the universities for their decision going forward. But for UTAC membership generally, I think we still are standing firm at our position that until we hear positively from government, there's no return to the classroom.
Thank you very much, sir. We are most grateful for your time. We're speaking with the president of the University of Ghana chapter of UTAC, Dr. Samuel Nkumban, who is saying that they have agreed to settle the case out of court so long as they see a positive reaction from the government to address their problems. We will now cross over to the ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit of Heads of States, which is being held in Accra. My colleague Edward Nyakon is standing by to give us an update. Well, we seem to have lost Edward. We'll bring him back on once we have him. Still, back to the UTAC story. The Ghana Association of University Administrators, a body that seeks to ensure efficiency and effective management of the operations of universities, is calling on the government and the National Labour Commission to resolve the ongoing labour unrest with the University Teachers Association of UTAC to avoid shutdown of public universities.
Welcome to Kempinski Hotel, where the ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit of Heads of State is being held. At the moment, three presidents are leaving the premises of the hotel. That is the president of Togo, Paul Nasingbe Yadima, the president of Benin, that is Talon, and then the president of Senegal, Mr. Macky Sall. They have just left the hotel where the Extraordinary Summit was held, in the sense that they have more or less concluded their meetings for today. And more importantly, most of these leaders are supposed to head to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, for another summit of AU leaders in Africa in Addis Ababa. So that is how come the matter brought this session to a very, they've closed earlier than expected. Now, what the issues that were on the table before the leaders of ECOWAS were the coup d'etat that just took place in Burkina Faso on January 24th, and on the heels of that, they deployed Chief of Defense Staff in the sub-region to Ouagadougou to go and have a conversation with the military that has interfered in the political regime or the democratic process of Burkina Faso. And as a result of that, just on the heels of that, the Council of Ministers, that is the foreign ministers in ECOWAS, also went there on Monday. And so this meeting today was held primarily to listen to the Chief of Defense Staff after engaging their colleague military leaders in Burkina Faso. And then the foreign minister also went there to engage them. So they had to brief the leadership of the ECOWAS region about what has transpired, what led to the coup d'etat, and what kind of arrangement they have in mind to make sure they return Burkina Faso to a constitutional rule. Because let's not forget that Mali started this trend that we're witnessing in August 2018. It was followed suit in Guinea, and then we've seen this in Burkina Faso. So these are the issues that have been discussed. And at the opening session, the President of Ghana, President Akufo-Addo, who is the chairman of ECOWAS, indicated that he is welcoming his peers or his colleagues president to Accra with a heavy heart. That was the statement he used, and said that there's a need for the leadership in the sub-region to collectively, I quote him, collectively and decisively deal with this trend that is creeping into the sub-region, because it is not healthy for our democratic process, and it will retard economic growth and so many things that we have aspired as a people to embark upon. So this summit is aimed at making sure that the coup d'etat being witnessed in the sub-region is tackled head on. And he also emphasized that he was excited that the African Union has responded swiftly to deal with the issue in Burkina Faso by imposing sanctions on Burkina Faso, just as ECOWAS has done. The previous one that was witnessed in Guinea, the response from the AU did not come as swift as the one of Burkina Faso, perhaps because it was not becoming as too frequent as it has been now. So the leadership of ECOWAS is looking for a sustainable way to make sure, to make sure that this does not reoccur. So these were some of the issues that came on board. But let's not forget that in Guinea-Bissau, there was also a coup attempt, but that had been foiled, and President Sissoko Mbalo did not attend the Accra summit because there's so much to be tackled back home, so he couldn't come here. And those who participated in the meetings, we saw the President of Senegal, Macky Sall, Nasingbe Yandemo of Togo, Talon from Benin. We did not see the President of Nigeria, his Vice President, Professor Yemi was here. We did not see also the Liberian President, but Brigadier Madabio from Sierra Leone was here today, and that of Togo and that of Gambia, President Adama Barrow. So these are some of the leaders that attended this summit today, and they're going to continue in Addis Ababa to find a means to make sure that this region does not become an epicenter of coup d'etat. We're seeing very soon that the President of Ghana, Akufo-Addo, will also come in and make sure that the communique that has been issued is made known to us. But we've seen that his vehicle is ready and is about to also go. The communique will be issued very soon by the President of ECOWAS, Mr. Jean-Claude Cassibrou. He will issue the communique together with the foreign ministers that are available. So we're expecting President Akufo-Addo also to leave the hotel and continue the journey to the AU summit to be held in Addis Ababa to ensure that the continent of Africa does not return to the old dark days where coup d'etats were the order of the day. But again, some are wondering what will be the effects of these coup d'etats in our part of the world. One, economically is going to retard economic development, because various programs that have been put in place by the governments in these countries are likely to be halted, because the military might want to go through some of the document, and again, it sends a wrong signal to investors outside the region, and that will not encourage investors who had earlier planned to come. And then, if there's no investment, economic development does not move at the pace it's supposed to be, we're not going to see employment being created to be able to engage the hands of the teeming youth we have in the sub-region who are crossing or embarking on a dangerous journey, perilous journey to Europe, all with the aim to look for greener pastures. So it is very important that these coup d'etats are addressed and ensure that it does not become the usual thing. It does not become the usual thing, because we've seen the President Akufo-Addo also coming out now, heading away from Kempinski premises. So if you look back, you realize that this is the summit that has been held, and it did not take too much a long time compared to the previous one that had been held at Accra, or in Accra, for under the leadership of President Akufo-Addo. This is the first time that this summit has been concluded earlier than we had witnessed over the past year when he took over as the leader of ECOWAS. Interestingly, this February should have been the time that Mali should have been started having political campaigns and then go to the polls to exercise, to enable Malians to exercise their franchise. But unfortunately, the military junta had not continued with the blueprint that was set for it to return Mali to a constitutional rule. And so they are asking to be in office for 5 more years. They're asking that they want to be in office for 5 more years. We are yet to know more of the plans of the Guinean military junta, though they have signaled that they're not going to be in power as long as 5 years as their counterpart in Mali had indicated. So we hope that Burkina Faso will also return to constitutional rule as early as possible, so that the sub-region will become a region of stability once again. Let's not forget also one hurdle that is before the leadership is the insurgency, Islamic insurgency in the Sahel region. That is a major bane to the development of the sub-region. We're seeing that the president of Ivory Coast is also preparing to depart from Kempinski Hotel. And so gradually, the leaders that participated in the conference or the Heads of State Summit are leaving the summit venue back to their home country and continue the journey to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where the AU, we are hoping, is going to take a strong stance against military coup d'etat. Cote d'Ivoire is leaving, that of Niger is also about to leave. So that is what Niger is also about to leave. So essentially all the leaders that came to participate in the extraordinary summit in Accra are leaving the Kempinski Hotel.
Thank you very much, Edward Nyako. That was my colleague, Edward Nyako, reporting from Kempinski Live, where the extraordinary summit of the ECOWAS heads of states has just ended to make way for another meeting by the African Union in Addis Ababa to address the rising cases of coup d'etat in West Africa. The Whole Technical University has graduated more than 1,000 students who pursued various programs at the bachelor's degree and higher national diploma HND levels. The Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Ben Honyenuga, appealed to the Minister for Education to engage technical universities in the country in his one-year pre-engineering course initiative for non-science graduates of senior high schools. He asserted that technical universities can provide competent engineers to drive the country's industrialization agenda.
The 22nd congregation of the Whole Technical University was held in 2 batches under strict adherence to COVID-19 safety precautions. In all, 1,041 students graduated with Bachelor of Technology degrees and higher national diplomas after pursuing various programs in the university. The Vice-Chancellor of Ho Technical University, Professor Ben Honyenuka, commended the Minister for Education, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, for introducing the one-year pre-engineering course for SHS graduates to offer engineering programs in universities as a strategy to promote the study of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM. He said technical universities such as the one in Ho are best placed to nurture quality human resources in the technical and vocational fields, which Ghana needs to push industrialization for socio-economic development.
Although this initiative is already being piloted in some selected universities, it is no secret that the technical universities are best placed to train, nurture, and the needed human resource in the technical and vocational related area that Ghana needs to trigger industrialization and the needed socio-economic development. I therefore wish to appeal to the Minister of Education and our regulator to extend similar opportunities to all technical universities in Ghana, since we have the capacity and resources to produce the much-needed engineers and to ultimately bridge the gap in the supply chain of engineers in the country.
The Chief Executive of Card Manufacturing, Ms. Linda Ampa, who was a guest speaker, urged the graduates to adapt to the changing trends in science and technology to help in the country's industrialization agenda. She also encouraged them to constantly upgrade their skills to reach their full potential and to be relevant on the job market.
You are the ones who are going to take Ghana from where we are to the next level. It also means that you have to keep upgrading yourselves. For those in the manufacturing sector, and a lot of you in the technical field, technology changes every 6 months. So you have to keep upgrading yourselves to make you relevant. Otherwise, there are others who are coming up and they will bypass you. And you begin to wonder why somebody got the promotion and you didn't.
The chairman of the Ho Technical University's Governing Council, Professor Emmanuel James Flolu, advised the graduates to utilize the quality training they had acquired at the university to set up their own businesses. 36 special awards from various institutions and individuals were presented to students who distinguished themselves in their various fields of study. Jonathan Akoto emerged the HTU's 22nd Congregation valedictorian.
I am confident on behalf of Council that the quality of education you have received at this university has prepared you adequately for the job market and will at the same time make you employers, not only employees, but employers.
Work has started on the Lambusie District Hospital in the Upper West region. The facility is part of 4 new hospitals to be constructed by the government as part of the Agenda 111 project. This was made known when the regional minister interacted with the chief of Busie, Poro Tenji Diyaka, and his elders at Lambusie. Swala Abdul Wahab has more.
Lambusie is one of the 4 districts in the Upper West region benefiting from government's Agenda 111 district hospitals. According to the regional minister, government has released some mobilization fund to contractors to move to site. GBC is in the Lambusie to confirm whether work has started on the facility.
You also indicated that the contractor working on the district hospital is on site. Government has given the contractors advanced mobilization, so I'm not surprised that the contractor is on site. Please take interest in that project because it is a project that will inure. Once it's completed, it will inure to the benefit of all of us, as you indicated. As for health, we cannot say that it is only the people of Lambusie who are going to be beneficiaries. It is going to benefit the entire Ghanaian people, or even once this place is closer to Burkina Faso, I will not be surprised if people come from Burkina Faso to access health services here.
The chief of Busie, Kuro Tanje Diaka, acknowledged the development projects government is implementing in the district. He, however, said more needs to be done.
Has shown their capability, because we are now even looking at the ECOWAS force that will now go on that offensive, but we need the resources to be able to do it. And so this is what we are working at the moment. The UN Secretary General is very amenable to such engagements. But some of the P5 countries are not comfortable dealing with the regional bodies. They are still in the mode of dealing on bilateral basis. So it's something that we need to look at. Some have indicated that they are willing to do that, but not all of them. For the US, for instance, I believe that they have to go to Congress and all of that. So for them, it's a long process and all of that. So they all agree that ECOWAS is doing a good job. With the requisite resources, ECOWAS can do an even better job. So that's the thing that is the conversation, the interaction that is going on, and we continue to.
Is ECOWAS imposing sanctions on Burkina Faso, financial sanctions?
ECOWAS is insisting that President Kabore is released unconditionally. ECOWAS is also insisting that the MPSR, they have a very short transition.
When you say short, what do you mean?
Well, I cannot say, I'm not the heads of state, but when you talk about a short transition, you look at it within the context of the country we are talking about. And for Burkina Faso, for instance, a short transition is extremely important. And I say that for the reason being that there is a humanitarian crisis, and then, of course, there's the issue of terrorism, which is almost engulfing the country. And one of the main reasons that the MPSR gave for the takeover was the humanitarian as well as the insecurity, and the fact that they are not getting the resources to fund the fight. If a whole government, with the help of the international community, did not get enough resources, how can a military transition government, who every international partner is taking their hands off, so no money will be, how are they going to be able to do it? So it's incumbent on them to have a very short, and I wish it would be very few months, to return the country quickly back to constitutional order, to democratic rule, so that the help that Burkina Faso badly needs, they can get it. Let's not forget that Burkina borders 4 countries that are coastal countries. We are talking about Benin, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ghana. The terrorists, they want to be able to reach the coast. We need to do something almost immediately to stop them, so that we are not all engulfed.
But would they face this amid sanctions?
Would they face
this short transition period? You're asking them to develop extra sanctions, obviously.
Listen, let's give them a chance. These demands that the heads of state are making, let's give them a chance. And the communique will be out very soon.
But the signal is that it appears sanctions aren't working anymore in this.
So let's give them a chance. Demands have been made. The heads of state will meet again, and then they will decide whether they should go the way of sanctions or another approach that they may decide.
6 months will still not be short enough for a country like Burkina Faso, given the exigencies of the moment.
So you are asking for my opinion? Yes, if you're asking for my opinion, I think 6 months is short enough, And I think even 4 months is even better. Looking at the situation there right now, where you have terrorists almost taking the whole country.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was the Foreign Affairs Minister, Madam Shirley Ayoko-Botwe, addressing the media on the highlights of the extraordinary session of the African Heads of State, which just ended in Accra, in Suntreso. A 10-bed isolation center has been inaugurated at the Suntreso Government Hospital in the Ashanti region. The facility is in response to a request made by management of the hospital to manage COVID-19 cases and other infectious diseases. The idea to construct an isolation center was when Unique Royal Club made a donation to the hospital during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. It was revealed that the inadequate isolation centers in the Ashanti region brought pressure on the Ashanti Regional Health Directorate, leading to renting of hotels to serve as isolation centers to contain the disease. The center consists of male and female wards equipped with television sets, storerooms, offices for health professionals and washrooms. The facility was named after Dr. Kwesi Twinibu Akodia, the male ward, Mr. Kofi Jemfi, and female ward, Mr. George Kwekukumi, all founding members of the club who had contributed immensely towards the construction of the center. The chairman of the club, Mr. Kofi Jemfi, said the facility was built at a cost of 295,000 Ghana cedis to accommodate patients with infectious diseases, including COVID-19.
The theme for this commissioning, building social partnership for sustainable health delivery, has been chosen to inspire their social clubs in the region and Ghana at large to forge partnership with the health facilities in the country to bridge critical infrastructure and equipment gap in our health facilities.
The Ashanti are visiting the facility to take the jab. Exhibiting exemplary leadership, Ghana's mining regulator, the Minerals Commission, has presented 2 million Ghana cedis to the Apiate Support Fund. This donation makes it the second to the fund after President Akufo-Addo's. Clara Milano reports.
The donation is in response to calls for assistance by the committee tasked to mobilize funds for the kitty to support the Apiate community. It is to actualize the proposed reconstruction of the town soonest. The new town is being raised into a modern city modeled on a green environment. The Minerals Commission says it has stepped up its sensitization programs, while no one would be left off the hook if implicated in the ongoing investigations.
It is anticipated that this would ease the work of the committee managing the fund to bring the needed reprieve to the survivors of the explosion and facilitate the speedy reconstruction of the Apiate community.
When the fund accrues sufficient monies, then the work of the reconstruction team will begin.
We receive this with real gratitude, and we are happy that this tragedy is going to be a harbinger of restructuring some of the issues that we have within mining. Mining is essential for life, but getting the minerals and metals out of the ground have their own dangers. We have managed very well in the country, but this accident, first though it may be, is one too many, and we need to do everything we can to avoid it happening again.
The call is for all to support the cause through the hashtag #ObiaNtuebi. For GBC News, Clara Mnano reporting.
Back to the national vaccination of the COVID-19 jab at Cape Coast in the Central Region. Our correspondent, Kingsley Boyd, reports that turnout for the vaccination is encouraging at most of the centers he visited. He is online to tell us more. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Kingsley, what else can you report? What did you observe?
Well, thank you very much. Like you already indicated, in fact, the turnout has been quite okay. What this means is that people are beginning to accept or understand the need for them to, of course, undertake the exercise. Previously, there have been so many issues with regards to the acceptability to even undertake the exercise. But the officials themselves and myself, my observation about 2-3 places that I visited suggested that yes, people have really understood to go in for this. The challenge I witnessed, especially the officials were telling me at Kaswa, for instance, has to do with the fact that with the Pfizer vaccine, for instance, pregnant women can even go through the process and be vaccinated with the Pfizer. But previously, when we were using the AstraZeneca vaccine, they were not supposed to. So I think that is where the confusion has been. Most of the pregnant women that of course visited the place or the officials approach to vaccinate with the Pfizer, they were still thinking that no, they had already been told that they are pregnant and they can't be vaccinated. Their stage is concerned. But that has been the issue some of the health officials are having. But education is still ongoing, letting them know that with the new vaccines that are coming out, for instance, like the Pfizer, first of course, they are doing together with AstraZeneca in the region, for instance, you can vaccinate you especially with the Pfizer. So that's the few challenges they are having. But many people seem to be coming in, they come and even ask who has done two already, is there the need for them to do it again? So those that need to be boosted, they are doing. Some also just come and ask and they say they are going and come. So I think that it has been quite interesting and we are hoping that they will be able to meet the target. In the central region, they are expecting to vaccinate at the end of the whole exercise 226,183. That is 226,183 vaccines that have been given to them. So that is the target. And they are sure, based on what they are seeing on the ground, yesterday was just the first day, but what they saw and today, they believe that they will be able to meet the chunk of the target.
Thank you very much, Kingsley Nabwedu. Kingsley Nabwedu is reporting from Cape Coast, where he says turnout for the vaccination jab this time around is encouraging. You're watching News Hour live on GBC News. Time to make way for business. Do stay.
Hello, this is Business. My name is Esther Edu Uhumewu. In our first story, an ecosystem-based strategy for long-term prevention of pests and their damage to rice cultivation is being piloted in some rice-producing districts in the Ashanti region. The integrated pest and disease management entails the use of resistant varieties to boost rice yields. The initiative forms part of Canada's $106 million Modernizing Agriculture in Ghana project. Integrated pest management is a potential tool for reducing pesticide use and enhancing yield. Adopting the effective pest control method in rice cultivation helps to increase yields by 22% compared with the traditional practices. The benefits-cost ratio is also higher under the technology-based pest control strategy. To help boost rice yields in the Ashanti region, the Crops Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has sensitized rice farmers on the use of integrated pest management. The institute, through the Modernizing Agriculture in Ghana project, has since set up a demonstration farm at Entry Ejekrum in the Chumamponua district of the Ashanti region. 4 improved varieties of rice were used in the piloting program to enable rice farmers embrace alternatives that will boost their production.
3 days be say ya water nsuo kopim say be fifi greek adwuma de maka say be mfie miensa adi koni ana me de me ho edom ya na me dom ya no so me ho say aboa me pa.
The Crop Research Institute urged farmers to strictly adhere to the pest control guidelines to help increase their yields.
The current government has a policy to make Ghana food secure through rice self-sufficiency, and that is we reduce over-reliance of importation of rice to cushion our food security situation.
The Ministry of Food and Agriculture admitted that the lack of access to credit for farmers has undermined the growth of smallholder farmers, but pledged government's commitment to addressing the financing challenge.
Formerly, farmers were cultivating, they were getting 2.5 tons per hectare. But now, with this intervention, after the calculation, you could see that we've gone to 4.5 tons, almost double. Farmers, as we speak, most of them are taking agriculture as business. So when you enter into business, your prime aim is to get profit.
The project is seeking to boost local production of rice to complement government's efforts to reducing the huge rice importation bill. An estimated 950,000 metric tons of rice were imported into Ghana in 2020 at a cost of over $1.5 billion. In the month of January, 7 equities registered price changes on the Ghana Stock Exchange. There were 2 gainers and 5 laggards. In an interview on Market Avenue, a research analyst at CDA Securities, Mr. James Affo, said prices of equities for February were expected to stabilize as per the bid and offer dynamics at present.
Interestingly, if you go to the capital markets, the coupon rate for most of the instruments with a shorter maturity period are also high, even if you compare to that of 10 and 15 years. 2-year notes is around 20%, 3-year bond is somehow around 21%, where we are having 7-year bond trading at 19.something%. I think excessive borrowing from the domestic economy is also contributing to this. The government is targeting short-term funds, and that has actually accumulated into this, where we have short-term instruments having a higher interest rate than most of the long-term instruments. The bid and offer dynamic that we have currently. In a worst case scenario, prices are expected to be stabilized in a few days to come. But we don't expect massive changes in prices. Few equities will be recorded changes. And marginally, I think the prices will be.
Let's have the interbank and commodity figures for the day. And that was business. Thanks for watching.